Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Incredible guests the world over with amazing backgrounds. They help other folks, but they didn't just like flip on a switch overnight and start doing it, although they did. But they've gone through something and they've kind of got a foundation of healing quite often, a foundation of self-mastery sometimes, in which they've turned a corner in their life and they realize that giving to others, helping others is what it's all about. Today, no exception, coming to us from England, from the UK, we've got Julie Poole, very talented, very long time intuitive healer and more. She channels, she has a lot of different modalities as an author. Again, has been at this for a long time and she's full of good cheer. So I'd like to welcome Julie to the show, Angels, Positivity, and Love. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's absolutely lovely to be here in your wonderful energy.
Oh, thank you. Look, you've been doing this a long time. I love how you roll. It's very fresh. And so can you just talk to us about this has been going on since childhood, but how do you keep it not too serious where you stay healing effective for everybody? You stay at it. You're not getting burned out. What's your secret to staying on course?
Well, for me, I follow the guidance, the intuition always, and I listen to my body, and the way that it keeps it fresh for me is that I have to make changes, as we all do. You know, life changes. It's the one constant is change. So if I'm doing exactly the same thing day in, day out, I can do that for sometimes years, and then I know when I start to lose the love of it. If I'm not really, I'm enjoying it, and it's okay, it's good. But when I haven't got that passion for it, that sparkle for it anymore, that's when it's like, right, time for change. So I will change the way I work, I'll change modalities, I'll drop something, I'll focus on something else. And that just keeps it fresh. And I found that has happened automatically over the last 25 years. I spent a lot of time, about 10 years, teaching classes at my home, and I'd have like a dozen in a circle. We do all sorts of amazing, wonderful things. And after 10 years, it was like, no, that's done now. Oh, okay then, right. I love teaching. I enjoy that part. It's like, no, you're going to put all that knowledge into a book and you're going to focus on that instead. Okay, so I did that. And then it was right back with the healing, and I stopped doing readings for about 8 years. I think I'd done so many and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, and I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. It was just too repetitious. So I stopped and I was focusing on clinical hypnotherapy. I was focusing on Reiki. I was focusing on other stuff. And then out of the blue, about 7 years, it just came back. The readings came back, and it's like, okay then, but in a different way. So, I'd stayed away from readings completely. I was very focused on the clinical hypnotherapy side. And I wasn't really doing much of the spiritual stuff, but I was doing a lot of emotional healing for people, a lot of energy shifting, a lot of changing. And I was invited on to a friend of mine at the Times show, and she did angel readings. And she wanted to do a dual thing. Let's do two of us together. You do the emotional healing, and I'll do the reading. So I went on to this show. It was a bit awkward, really, because she did the reading, and while she was doing the reading side, my angels are saying, and this and that, and she hasn't said this, and this is important. And so when it came to my bit, and I'm supposed to be focusing on just the emotional side of it and the way we change our beliefs and release the emotion. And I just went into this reading to add on, and basically I took over the show. Oops. But by the end of it, and it was live, I think it was on Facebook, it was live, and people were not wanting her to read, they wanted me to read, and it was her show. So it was a bit awkward, but it gave me, I want to do this. So I started doing it myself a little bit on Facebook, and then I moved it over to YouTube, and it just went whoosh. And so as that went whoosh, the hypnotherapy side went down. I started changing. About 6 months later, I was at the time specializing with trauma and PTSD. And that's quite heavy work. That's quite intense work, and I've been doing that specifically around trauma for 15 years. So I got to the point that summer, about 6 months after the readings had come back in, where I had 3 back-to-back clients that were very heavy. Normally I go into a session, I come out feeling lifted, I can feel the shift. I came out drained,
Mm.
and then another one an hour later, another one an hour later. And after the 3, I sat down and I felt my exhaustion, I felt my energy gone. And I spoke to my angels and my spiritual team, and they said, "This is done, no more." And I just went, "What?" 15 years? No, no more. It's You're done. And I had to do a big chat and say, you know what? And also I had to step into an ever such a lot of faith. I've got good faith, I've got strong faith. But when you're asking me to walk away from 40% of my income, that's faith on another level. And so I questioned them for about a week and they kept insisting. So I said, okay. So I literally emailed my trauma clients and said, your next session will be the last session. And I made an announcement, I'm not doing this anymore. My angels just kept saying, just trust us, just trust us. Oh, okay. And so I finished that side of my work. And then within about a week or 2, I was getting all of these downloads and ideas and inspirations for, right, let's work with people on more, how do I describe it? Rather than helping people off the floor, to help people already off the floor to the next level.
Mm.
So now I was working with career development and wealth development and empowerment and all sorts of other developmental coaching type stuff, but not a coach. I've never done those long programs for 3 months or anything. It's a 1 hour session, 1-to-1. But I shifted and the energy was completely different.
Mm.
So I was still doing hypnotherapy, but no longer on trauma, on how can we use the mind to empower us into our best life. And that went on then. And then there was other ideas and inspirations that come in. And then, there's been shifts like that. And with my YouTube channel, that got a bit stagnant. And I went, right, okay. I used to do daily and I would do weekly. And so I shifted it to monthly and then brought in money and career readings and, just shifted things around. You've got to keep shifting things around. Otherwise, it gets stagnant, You just got to keep the energy moving. And also within myself, I've got to keep my own energy moving. If I'm just I'm in my office right now, if I'm just sat here all day, every day, it's not particularly good for my own body. I have to get up, I have to move around.
Mm.
And then in and amongst that will be, it's time for another book. And that happened last week.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, go back 6 weeks. I was not very well. And I'm always well. And so if I'm not very well, that means that I'm out of balance. And so I had a little word to myself, and it's like, no, you about 50 clients a month and about 50 YouTube readings a month. And, stop, stop. So I said, okay, what? Stop the clients. Like, what? All clients, all clients, all clients gone. I've
Mm.
been doing this for 24 years, client after client after client. I've never, ever stopped taking clients. And they said, you're stopping now. And I said, for how long? Probably forever, but we'll let you know. Okay. So I made an announcement on my Facebook page and my YouTube page. I'm closed for bookings, no more bookings. So everybody that's booked in, and they were booked in for 3 months. I was fully booked for 3 months. So it's like, there's no more. And I just closed it. And then I said, okay, again, a big part of my income, what now? And within a week, they'd given me, we want you to do a second channel, do law of attraction, do teaching on the law of attraction. Okay, so I set up the second channel. And then what did they say next? Oh, the book is coming. Another book is coming. I'll let you know when. So I thought, okay, the last client is the end of July. So that's what I'll be doing in August then. But no, all of a sudden I'm getting emails from journalists and podcasters and channels saying, will you come on my show? and I'm saying yes to everything because I just, generally felt right. So I've got all of these interviews, and then there's articles in newspapers and things like that, and I'm suddenly having to respond to all those articles. So that's been going alongside. And then literally last week they said start the book, and I said I haven't finished the clients yet. When am I doing this? And it was right, get all of that work out of the way, and then on the weekend you can start writing. Okay, so I started Friday. Today is Monday. I've done 30,000 words in 3 days, and the book is just flowing out. And I realized then why they want me to write it now. I usually write my books in about a month because they just flow. They're just channeled. It just flows through. And once I'm in that creative space, they're all around me and they're like, yay, they get so excited. So the plan is at the moment, although, they'll tell me if it changes. I'll get this book written in July, and then in August I will be recording the Audible version. And that's, about a month's worth of work is that voice recording, and then getting all of that done and getting that book to launch 1st of November. That's when they're saying to me, 1st of November. I'm like, okay. So yeah, they do this with me. They just bring things in and they change things up. And a couple of weeks ago, they gave me a title of a session. Instead of I was doing healing sessions, which I called Ultimate Freedom. It's like, no, you're not doing that anymore. They're too draining. They're done now. But you could do some manifesting sessions, manifesting coaching sessions. If you're going to do one-to-one, that's what you're going to do with the odd few readings. So it's like, okay. But at the moment, the intention is that from now till September, it's wrapping up what I've been doing, finishing the book, still doing YouTube, and then I'm moving home and area. So sometime in September or October, and into the forever home, which will be wonderful. So moving home, get settled there, launch the new book, and then if it feels right to open back up to clients, I will. But I've got a feeling that's not going to happen. We will see what unfolds. So, yeah. I mean, when I'm doing things like YouTube, I can reach 500,000 people in a month, and one client is wonderful, but I could take that hour and reach so many more. And so I'm always saying to upstairs, as I call them, how can I best be of service? How can I best encourage, empower, uplift, inspire, energize, give people direction, give people hope? And some may say it's false hope, but when you're in a place of complete disempowerment and completely lost, to give somebody some form of direction of, if you can do this, and then you'll, and you just feel it. And I see it in the comments, this got me through a really bad time, thank you. I'd almost given up, and my hope is back and my determination is back. And it's like, my job is done. That's what we're here for, to uplift others, to support others, to help others, isn't it?
Mm. Brilliant. Can you talk to us just a little bit about growing up, how it all came about, how you see or how you feel, how it may have shifted over time? Is it first a feeling if it's more at the client level and we're talking you as an adult? Have you seen angels in full on human form? It was that stranger with twinkly eyes and just said the right thing at the right time. And either at the moment you knew or you didn't know, but like 5 minutes later, 5 years later, you're like, oh my God, that was absolutely an angel. Whoa. And it stayed with you
Absolutely.
this whole time.
Yeah, interesting because as I've been writing this second book, the sequel to From Hope into Heaven, as I'm writing it, how did this happen for me? How did I move from real lack to wealth and success? How did that happen? And I was recalling the stories and sharing them in the book, because if I can do it, you can do it. And so there was two that came to mind really strongly. And one was a lady who I've been saying to upstairs, like, I need to activate the law of attraction in terms of my finances better than I am. It was working in other areas, but money, it was not working. And I was really strongly energizing the energy of money, for ease and for flow. And then, I can be of more service to more people if I haven't got to worry about things like that. And this woman came into my practice as a client and had a few sessions with me, and it blew her away. And it was like she couldn't believe the success. Fairly normal for the way I work, but she'd been to several other people and hadn't touched the sides. And she came to me, and we were sorted, fixed. And when she was leaving, she overpaid me, and she said to me, "I can't believe you charge so little. Why on earth are your prices this low?" And I looked like I was quite, she said, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but it's ridiculous what you charge. There are people charging 3, 5, 10 times what you charge, and they're not as good as you." And then off she went. And that was the opener for me. I literally, within a day or so, sat down and questioned my worth, my work. I researched, I compared, and I realized, yes, I'd been hugely undercharging for a very long time. So no wonder I had so much lack. And then from there, I went into realizing I had an awful lot of underlying beliefs about I can't make money, proper money, working with angels, working with spirit, working with this. You've got a proper job to get proper money. So I smashed those beliefs and money started to come. And then there was another one. I was saying to the universe, help me align with this. I realized I was in poverty consciousness. I could make success in other areas, but not with money. So I was really aligning with show me, help me. And they said to me, turn on Facebook. So I did. And there was this angel reader on there, a British woman. And she was at the time live doing these free angel readings. And I thought, why am I watching this? She was very nice. She had lovely energy. And I said to somebody, "I'm busy. What am I doing watching this?" And my angel said, "Just quiet and just listen." Okay, okay. And a couple of minutes later, this woman said, "Right, we're wrapping up the readings now. And before we go, I just want to let you know that I'm having to put my prices up by 20% because I'm having to go VAT registered." Well, my mouth just kind of went, "What?" Now, let's explain that for people outside the UK. This is an extra tax that you have to pay. I think most countries have it when your income reaches a certain threshold. And in the UK at that time, the threshold was £85,000 a year,
Mm,
which is about $110,000,
mm,
six figures. Um, and and then once you reach that threshold, the government want 20% of your income. So you have to pay on top of the tax you're already paying. It's an additional tax. So you have to pay the government 20% of every penny that you earn. And so she was putting her prices up by 20% to cover those costs. And my angel said to me, "Turn it off now. That's the bit you needed to know." And I was just in complete shock because the realization for me at the time, I was earning about 10 grand a year.
mm.
So this woman was earning 85,000, and I didn't even know that it was possible to earn six figures from doing what I was doing. So all of a sudden, the invisible ceiling that I had placed above me of what I thought my maximum was, I thought, if I was really lucky, I might get it to 30 or 40,000. Never occurred to me I could get it up to 80, 90 or 100,000. So then I went back into myself and my beliefs about money and limitation, and I smashed them. And then within a week, I'm getting all sorts of ideas.
Can we hear just a few of those limiting beliefs? Because, folks watching at home are going to have some of those.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. It'll be things like I can't earn proper money following my passion. I can't earn proper money doing something like readings or healings or, replace any of those. I'm useless with money. Money hates me. I hate money. Money is bad. Money is evil. Um, Rich people are horrible, greedy, no heart, no compassion, abuse their position. Now that's quite a big one. Many of us have beliefs that rich people are horrible people because we see evidence of it, whether it's in real life or on a film, a movie. You see some rich man or some rich woman click, click, click to the waiter, treating them as if they're nothing, screaming at a driver, abusing their status, and we think rich people are horrible. And so we associate wealth with being horrible. So who wants to be horrible? I don't want to be horrible. So if I've attached Do you see the way the mind works,
Mhm.
right? So basically what happens is as soon as you realize that riches equal being horrible, you push riches away. You're rejecting. If you think that you're going to lose all your friends, you won't know who to trust. If I was rich, who would I know who my friends are? We've got so many of these money beliefs, and they all came rushing in as I was figuring out my own money beliefs. So I was sat consulting with my spiritual team and I was writing them all out and then I was clearing them. And my wealth, my income just went whoosh. And it just unlocked the gates of abundance towards me. And as it did for me, so I am, I've got to tell you about this so you can have it too. So I started creating programs and, unlock your block to wealth, to health, I tried it with all sorts of different things and it worked. Stopping smoking. And I, as a hypnotherapist, done lots of sessions about stopping smoking, but I found new ways of working with it. I had this new awareness all come through from those two angels that came into my life in human form that unlocked my own abundance. And so I've been sharing that information, and that's what I put into my book, From Hoping to Having. And then what I found since then is that because that book covers all areas, improving your life in all areas, love, health, not just money. But most people, especially at the moment, I say most people, but the key that most people are really struggling with at the moment is abundance, is money, is lack. And I thought, okay, well, let's take all the knowledge. That's what that. And my team said to me last week, you're writing another book. And I said, what am I writing? And they said, the sequel. But this is for wealth and success. Just put all of the wealth and success in one place and make it more detailed and give them a formula. So that's what it's going to be called by the time your show goes live. This show goes live. That book will be out, From Hoping to Having Wealth and Success, the formula. And so, that's already there in little bits in my website, but putting it in detail in a book. So yeah, these human angels have come into my life and helped me massively all the way through my life. But you asked where it began. It began in childhood. I never really closed down because, we're all born spiritual, talking to our angels and seeing everything. We're all born like that. But we begin to close it down. And I didn't really close it down. It went quieter. Excuse me, just have a little bit of water. It's allergy season. And I do have, and I keep trying to fix this bit, which I've improved, but not enough. We're still working on the histamine intolerance. Get a little bit throaty with all of the trees that I'm surrounded by. Um, so yeah, it quietened, but I remember probably 5 or 6 years old playing at the bottom of my garden, my yard. We had a huge tree, a beautiful, probably 500-year-old tree at the bottom of the garden, massive trunk. And I used to play down there, and I called it my fairy glen. And I used to play with, I could see the little energies and the lights, and it was a safe place for me. I loved being by that tree. But it really opened up when I was about 7 or 8, after I went through quite a traumatic experience. I left my body. I rose out of my body during that traumatic experience and found myself perched up high on a tree with the birds with Jesus sat next to me. Well, hello. I didn't know who he was. He was just this lovely man sat next to me, and he was kind. And, he was saying to me about the birds and the trees and the skies. And we had a lovely chat. And when it was time for me to come back into my body, he said to me, I'll always be here for you. I said, oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. What's your name? And he said, Yeshua, but you can call me Jesus, and I'm always here. And I said, thank you. That was it. I was like, oh, I've heard of you. I've heard of you. So I was back in my body. But after that, it was me and my mate, Jesus. I mean, at 8, I didn't call him my mate. I do now as a grown up, but my friend, Jesus. And we used to talk. He used to come and sit on my bed and we'd have a chat. And, he was always there. He talked to me about God, the universe, love. I started going to church. and the vicar would be saying something and Jesus would be sat next to me. The first time I went into the church, I remember the huge cross, crucifix, and he was on the, and I said, "What are you doing up there?" And the next thing, he was sat next to me having a chat. But he used to correct things, you know. He'd say to me when the vicar was saying something, he'd say, "No, I didn't say that." You know, that the vicar's reading from the Bible and Jesus saying, "No, I didn't say that." "Well, I didn't say it quite like that. That's just been shifted. Let me tell you what I did say." So we had this lovely relationship. And that carried on for, well, still is. You know, we chat now and again. But I didn't really know angels for quite a long time. You know, I went through the sort of spiritualist church for a long time. That was really helpful in understanding things like karma and the Akashic records and past lives. And of course, I became a hypnotherapist, and I trained as well in past life regression. So I was able to really go into all the past lives. But when I was young, from 17 to about 38, 40, it was all shamanism for me. It was all about the earthly grounded energy. And that's because my root chakra was so absolutely shot to pieces. So you can't really come into the higher chakras until you've got that base chakra, that root chakra, to feel and know that you're safe, secure, grounded, protected. I'd had years of abuse on every level, from 7 to 22 years, you know, 15 years of abuse. And I had no sense of safety or security. So my guides worked me through the shamanic, the indigenous, Native American, Indian, powwow, powerful, you know, you are safe kind of energy for the next 20 years. Um, and I learned a lot. They taught me about the four winds and the four directions, and a lot about earth and air, fire, water, and all the rest of that. That was my energy and my focus for a long, long time. So I'm fiddling with my shirt because I've got this mic attached to me that's quite heavy, and my shirt is quite light, and it keeps pulling it down and revealing a little too much for my liking.
Oh,
Anyway, the angels turned up when I was around 40. Um, and yeah, my guide at the time, my main guide that was called Running River, that had been with me since I was 17, you know, we were having a chat one day, and as I did, meditated every day, talked to them, said to me, you know, "I'm off now, and I'm not coming back." And I was bereft. And then this nun came in, this nun, you know, this beautiful, amazing warrior was waving goodbye as this nun dressed in a black thing with a, you know, walked in. And I literally was like, "I don't know who you are, but I don't want you. You know, no, thank you." You know, it was no interest in this little nun at all. She didn't say anything. She just stood there, and she was just around for about the next week or so. And then I found myself in the town a couple of days later. There was a shop on the corner that I'd seen before. It was a spiritual shop. It sold a lot of crystals and Buddhas and things like that. And I'd bought a lot, and you know, the native First Nation stuff, you know, drums, rattles. My house was full of drums and rattles and everything that was, you know, indigenous American. And then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, look at that angel in the window. Oh, that'll be that one behind me, that big one in the corner there." I had to have it. And I had nothing in my house that was angelic, nothing. But I could not walk away from that. And I couldn't afford it. I put a deposit down and asked them if I could just pay for it as and when. So they said, yeah. So I got that angel, and then I got the next one. Um, and over the next week, it was just everything angelic. And then all of a sudden, this nun kind of just gave me the sort of thumbs up and went. And all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by angels. And I just said to this amazing angel in front of me, "Well, hello, and thank you for being here. And why are you here?" And she said to me, "You know, we've always been here, but we're a higher vibration. And because you had so much fear within you, you couldn't raise your vibration high enough to be able to see us and work with us. But you're there now. And so we've taken over from Running River, which is why he's gone. You've absorbed everything you need to know from the shamanic earthly energy. Your root chakra is great. You're there now. So now you're lifting into your heart. This was around about 2000, 2001 or two, something like that. You're lifting into your heart, which is the 5D. The 5D is we live from the heart rather than from the solar plexus. So we are moving into this heart energy. And so she's my new guide. And she said that's why the nun was here, because as an English Protestant, well, Welsh, I've got to say I'm Welsh, not English. But as a Protestant, we don't do angels. Protestants don't. It's a Catholic thing. Um, and so I didn't know anything about angels. There's a little bit about them in the Bible, but there's not much, and it's not part of the Baptist church or any of the churches that I've been to. So I'd learned a little bit about them during the spiritualist church years, about 20 years there. But I didn't really have a relationship with them. So over the next 2 or 3 years, it was everything angelic, and they started taking over. I was channeling angels. I was doing angel readings. I was, being able to speak with my angels. And then about maybe 8 to 10 years later, it was a different vibration again. It then became everything Buddhist, everything Zen. Reiki came in, different energy, a different vibration. But my angels didn't go, they stayed with me. But I had these higher beings of light that were coming in as well. And then there'd be occasions when I was teaching, especially when I was teaching spiritual circles, when I was teaching channeling, I channeled Thoth, Thoth, Seth, these high energy beings. And by the time we got to, I suppose, 2012, when everything really started cracking open in terms of the energy fields, I by then had absorbed and assimilated, like the book would say, assimilated all these different energies into me, angelic and Buddhist and Christian and shamanic, and it's like they were all swirling around within me. And everything work-wise started really taking off. The level of things I could shift and heal and transform and transcend was far superior than it had been 10 years before. And it was beautiful. So that's kind of where we're at now. I still have my angelic team, I still channel them. My spiritual team now I call Eli, which is an acronym. There's about 12 of them. It's an acronym for Empowering Loving Information. So it's made up of some guides, some higher level beings of light, some galactic beings, several angels, a couple of my ancestors, and it's just they kind of come in and they guide me. And also within there is my future self. My higher self connects in with my future self across all time. That part of myself that is already master, that is already ascended, moves back through time, and well, there's no time as we know, but moves back through the energy. And I find that one extremely helpful as well, when I'm looking at trying to visualize the future me. But it's interesting, when I look behind me at the books, the three at the bottom, those are my angel trilogy. That's when my angel said to me in 2011, stop teaching classes, put all this knowledge of spiritual development, which is kind of beginners stuff, what it's just explain the beginner stuff, put it into a rom-com novel so that they're reading a romantic comedy, but at the same time they're learning about the angels and the universe and life and light and love and power and all sorts of other things. So it's been a wondrous journey. I've been incredibly blessed to still be doing it now, as I just approach 61 in a month or two. That life is extraordinary and I'm blessed.
Okay, is love the fabric of the universe? And can you talk to us about how big it is for everything that the universe actually provides?
How big is it? It's unlimited. There are no limits. How can there be limits in space? There are no limits. It's us that put the walls up. It's us that puts the boxes in, and I have this saying about labels are for boxes, not for people. And there are no boxes. So therefore, everything is open. it's us that either align with it or we don't. It's us that impose our own prisons, our own restrictions, and our own um, struggles. So the universe works on polarities. There's always contrast. And this is because of free will. If we only had love, where's the choice? Where's the option? There isn't one. And so this experience of ours is to know those contrasts so that we can choose love, so that we can choose a higher vibration. So by having the lower vibrations triggering this, that, or the other, pulling us down, ripping us apart, doing all sorts of other things, it's our opportunity to choose love, to choose a better way. And so there is only love, or there is an absence of love. And that is all there is. And so if there is only love, which is light, which is pure, which is truth, and then there is an absence of love and light and truth.
I'm going to give you a 3-minute max. I think it's more like 40-second break, and I'll read a passage from Angels. It's just going to be fluffy and light. I'll show one photo because we've had you going here for a little bit, and then I'll blow some sage in a little bit too. But there's a concert and a lot of balls of light. Some people say orbs, but angels. It wasn't raining, and I just did that for fun as a distraction.
That's beautiful. I love that.
And then here's a passage from Angels if people want to view it as the universe talking, what have you. What's up with mankind? Why angels now? Awareness for mankind is on the horizon. Call it a spiritual awakening if you wish. It's a chance for all to grow. Mankind is ready for more unconditional love and compassion for all. And more compassion by all for all is needed. Mankind is ready for change from rat race mode. Happiness is obtained in the absence of ego. Ego is afraid to be vulnerable, to let go, and to be in the unknown. Again, there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Move past seeing the negative. Compassion can be taught through one's actions. How? Slowing down would do a world of wonder for most people. Doing it consistently is where the problems and opportunities lie, so stay present. Start right now. Letting go means less thinking. Do not get lost in perceived tasks, roles, ego, etc. Being in the moment is to do compassion for all. For individuals, an egoless path would be great, but it's not realistic. Allow ego to serve as a reminder when it pops up, a reminder for what you decide. How about a reminder to breathe? How about a reminder to enjoy each moment as it comes? Believe that all moments can be the same. Whether it's a moment at work or a moment looking at nature, all moments are the same and peaceful. Only thinking something can interfere with this. Likewise, they're not separate paths for mankind or separate worlds for individuals. One is one. Through awareness and owning the consequences of one's thoughts and actions, a person begins to see how all of life is truly interconnected in one. Faith in all can lead to a change in mankind. This is the path for all of man. This is about man bringing peace and joy to all. This is also about your personal growth in your life and finding the next stage in your soul's development, as well as the continued evolution of mankind. The greatest gift is allowing. All is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Lastly, compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself generously and without fixation. Believe in all. It is much simpler than people think. Again, this is because it's not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us, angels. Be. What's your reaction to that? And it feels like that's all you've been talking about in a way. Julie, what's your reaction?
That's absolutely beautiful. Where has that come from? What is that book? What is that passage from?
Listening to Angels, the little book. I saw balls of light as I was typing. I'll show one photo that's the cover of the book. But again, blame me if you think I wrote it, but I'll tell anybody I just wrote what I heard.
That's your book. Wow.
Yeah, but it's angels talking. So there's a Charlotte, the blue ball light, and the whitish one is my guardian angel, and you can see faces in there. But
Yeah.
I'll show that same photos because there's different ways for different, like Archangel Michael, I've got him a couple different ways. But there's the whitish one and the bluish one in different forms.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, angels are here. They're helping us. How do you personally do it daily, weekly? Do you kind of have a tea time with them? Do you grab a legal pad? Is it the shower? the suds coming in and you're always doing kind of a two-way when you remember to remember is the dog walk, the walk.
It's always, I don't switch it off. I switch it off with clients because I have to have their energy. So if I'm working with a client, I will protect my own energy in the space I'm working with. Um, but when I'm doing YouTube, when I'm doing creative, when I'm doing my day-to-day life, it's constant. They're always available to me. And I don't have this is our time to talk, now go away. It's like, why would I do that? If I drive down into the local town to go and get a pint of milk, I'm chatting with them along the way and saying, and get me a parking space, and I want to be here. And they are part of my everyday world. But yes, you're absolutely right. Water is an amazing conduit. He says, taking some water. I get a lot of information in the bath, in the shower. I get a lot of information when I'm just sat drinking a glass of water. Um, they're always there, but it's really about my own permission. It's about everybody's own permission. When we give them permission to interfere, because of our free will, it's like, and I describe this to people that, they are there and they have a job, their job is to get you from A to B, to get you through life to where you're meant to be and achieve your soul's mission. And their job is to support and guide and help you to do that. But they are not allowed to help you unless you ask for it because of free will. And most of us have heard the concept of free will, but we don't apply it. Free will is, that we are always creating, and we are always in charge of our own life and our destiny. And we can do it the hard way on our own, or we can do it the easy way or the easier way with their assistance. And I realized this quite young at 7 or 8 and said, okay, you have my absolute permission to help and guide me in any area of life as often as you want. And some of my guides over time have been quite stern, like a headmaster telling me off, you're in the head's office, you're in trouble. They have said to me, what were you thinking? What was that? But while the guides are doing the tellings off, the angels are always there going, oh, never mind, we love you.
Oh,
They are always full of compassion and love. They're not so much there as teachers, but to support and share and guide us in our energy and our vibration, to help lift us, to help purify us, to help strengthen us, to help basically. So I will always suggest for everybody that you give the universe, and particularly your angels and guides, full permission to assist you in your life. And when you allow it, you'll find that the magic happens, that the inspirational ideas happen, the accidents happen. There's no accidents, there's no coincidences. It's the universe rearranging itself to support you because you've opened up to it and you've said, yes, please, thank you very much. And don't forget the thank you very much. I remember when I was writing my first angel book, Angel on My Shoulder, there's a character, each of the characters, the human characters, have got an angel character, okay? And there's this one angel character, and he's quite old and quite stern and quite grumpy. And he's a guardian angel for one of the characters. And when I channeled the whole book, and I'm writing the words of this angel, and he's saying, thank you, it'd be nice. Never get a thank you. No, it's always, oh, what a coincidence. Oh, what an accident. That was me. I did that. I did that for you. And I'm writing this in my book. And I thought, yeah, do we acknowledge and realize just how much help they give us? Just how much, So the more I stepped into that awareness and thanking, gratitude, appreciation, then the more gratitude and appreciation shows up in my life. And by that, I mean more things to appreciate, more things to be grateful for. But always say thank you to your angels and to yourself. You're doing the best job you can. Even when you judge it that you mess up, that you've gone the wrong way, or, you made a terrible decision, just be kinder to yourself and say you did the best you could with the tools that you had. All right, if you learned from it, okay, perhaps it wasn't the best idea in the world, but what have you learned from it? What have you gained from it? How have you grown from it? How has that dissolved some of that judgment within you or impatience within you? How has that grown your tolerance and your compassion? So was it worth it? Yes. And you might judge it and say, no, hell no, it wasn't worth it. But turn it around and say, look, we can, all of us, look back at our life and cringe with some of the decisions we've made, some of the actions we've taken. All of us will do that. It isn't God that judges, and it certainly isn't angels that judge, it's us. And so let's take the judgment away. That's part of living from the heart, is to learn how to release judgment. And we are a work in progress on that one, because we all judge and we judge the judgment. And so when we're trying to grow in light and connect further, better, deeper with our angels, the higher our vibration, the better the connection. And judgment is a low vibration. So let's try to release it. And it lifts. You watch your way, you lift, your life lifts. So when you catch yourself judging, and you start with yourself, you walk past the mirror and you're judging, I'm having a bad hair day. Yeah, take the judgment away. Yeah, when you judge other people, let it go. You don't know what their experiences are. That saying about walk a mile in another man's shoes, you don't know. Let go of the judgment. There was an example. I use lots of different examples that are given to me from the angels when I'm working with a client. And I remember there's one popping in my head now, a client some years ago, 10 years ago probably, and he came to me because of road rage. He had terrible, terrible road rage, and he's like, I've got to learn to, this is not healthy. And I'm like, no, okay, let's work this out. And whenever I'm doing a session, I'm channeling information, how best to help that person. I'm in their energy, I'm in their soul energy, I can feel all their vibrations and emotions. And I just had this chap in a hypnotic trance, and I got him to imagine that this man in the other car that's cut him up on the way to work, that he wants to follow and kill. Imagine that he's got the boss from hell, and he's been stuck in traffic, and he's had a row with his wife, and he's worried about his kids, and he's just having a really, really hard time. And now he's stuck in this traffic, and he's going to be late, and he's going to lose his job. And if he loses his job, he's losing his home, and his stress is building and building and building and building. And he sees a little gap in the traffic, and he just is rude. He pushes in, he pushes past, he's desperate, he's got to get to work. He's going to be in such trouble if he doesn't. Now bring it back to you. What's going to happen if you get to work late? It's your business. You're not in trouble if you get to work 5 minutes late. You haven't got that stress. Can we just let him have that space? Let him get to work a bit quicker? Can we not say he is attacking me, he is disrespecting me, and then react to that? Can we instead respond with compassion as that man behaves badly in his panic and fear? And can we not just say, give him blessings and compassion and allow it? And it's because we take it personally and we see it as a personal attack that we react. We don't respond, we react. So when we lose the judgment, he judged that person as, you're disrespecting me, you're being aggressive to me, you're attacking me. No, he's not. Let go. And that was enough, that one session. But the angels gave me that information as an example. And every time I worked with a client, when I would think, how can I help them to understand this? How can I help them to find that belief and squash it? The answers would come directly from my angels. I would just see exactly what I needed to see, or say exactly what I needed to say. And when people said to me, genuinely and appreciative, you're incredibly good. And I said, oh yeah, I am, but I cheat. I cheat. It's not all me. It's a combination, your average hypnotherapist hasn't got a whole host of angels behind them telling them what to say and do to help that person. They're doing the best they can. And yeah, you might judge that I'm doing better, but that's because I've got all this team. But the thing is, we all have, all of us. So know it and trust it. And the more you raise your own vibration, the more you will begin to become aware of them and see them. You know, sometimes I will be doing a reading for YouTube sort of in this position, and I'll ask upstairs, you know, give the people watching a sign that they are loved and they are supported. And it'll either come through my words, which it often does, I channel a lot. Um, but sometimes, and this is lovely, you will just see an orb going right across the screen. You will see a light suddenly, and there will be hundreds of comments about, did you see that orb? Did you see that? It's like, yeah, there's your sign. So when I ask for the signs, they're there. But I haven't seen many orbs lately, and I think it's probably because I'm a little more tired than I usually am. But yeah, they're there, and they'll give you the signs when you need
Lovely.
them.
Maybe we'll get one today. We've been getting them on two South Africans, one living in France, one living in Germany. Don't know why South Africans, but an angel named Heather flew up here and across, always brighter for me. And then sometimes in the tape, it shows bright, or the video show or the show.
Yeah.
We had interdimensional Jesus, multiple Jesuses do this. And I put that all over social media where I go. And I stuck the song by Talk Talk from the 80s, 90s, Send Me an Angel. And I thought I did a really funny job of kind of making fun of it in a nice way. It was beautiful. But maybe we'll get one in a little bit. I'll blow some sage from Texas to the UK. And then I'll put up some angel photos, Native American chiefs, Buddha. Very kind of quick, like not lightning round in a game show, but take a look, get a listen, keep it to yourself, share out loud what you get a hug, anything you want. It's, you know, Julie Hoyle's show. So I'm going to light some sage. For folks at home, if you've watched the show before, this is the time to hit like, comment, share. What have you loved about what Julie has said? And more. Share just a few words. Hey, I love England. That's great. Which football team do you root for? I'm kidding. But if you've had an angel experience, put it in the comments too. Here's the lighting of the sage. Some people start tasting it or smelling it, the energy of it, and then smoke. And Julie, we did this before the show, so we know it works. We always kind of test it. Lorna Byrne, the Irish angel mystic on the show, was like, I don't smell sage. She's like, but I do smell daisies or roses. And I was like, whew. So if people want to catch sage, flowers, and even ocean, they can. What are you getting in England right now?
Oh, I'm getting the white sage. I mean, this was part of my 20 odd years with Running River. It was white sage and feathers, eagle feathers. Um, yeah, I can smell it. It's lovely.
Good. And I will put up Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo in a little bit. In 1970, when I was two, not my dad. My dad passed away in 1970 in the Navy off of Italy. It was his time to go. He had just turned 25 or 26, and hundreds of people have gotten to see him and my mom on the other side. But the point of this was a woman walked 3 drawings of Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo down, and it was for protection. You got to ask angels about the detail. But back to angels, there's an angel named Joy, the first angel people generally meet at my end. She's just the high, peppy voice and the emotion, joy, fun ambassador communicator. Julie, what are you getting as a reminder for us all from Joy?
It is our natural state of being. It is who we truly are. It is all that we are. So the darkness and the lacking of joy or the absence of joy that we often experience is just the forgetting of it rather than the absence of it. It is there. Tap into it.
Brilliant. Charlotte, everybody's favorite school teacher from 3rd form, 3rd grade, and not Mrs. Wilson who got you in trouble, but Mrs. Johansson, the nice one. Charlotte's got words meant to help you expand. What has Charlotte got for us all?
Be all that you can be. Be all that you were meant to be. Be your divine, expanded, joyous essence. Take responsibility for that which you want to change. Own it kindly, and then release it, transform it, shift it.
And then a Min, the only complicated name out of like 200 names. Min, like Minnesota, Lakota Sioux word for water. Awala is a Polynesian morning glory. Morning glory flowers up top. Sweet potato, vine, potatoes in the ground. But Ua and La in Hawaiian is rain and sun. So it's water rainbow, water morning glory. Just call her Min. Soft spoken professor, light waves of energy and water. Anybody wants to catch an oceany smell that you miss halfway across the world? That's Fiji, Bora Bora, not boring. Anything you need, just ask for it, allow, and smell it. Close your eyes if you need extra help. But Julie, what are you getting from Min?
I'm getting a connection with the land and your power, the land and the universe and your power. I'm seeing a volcano crater holding in an enormous amount of Earth's power and it being released. And within that, I am seeing your solar plexus as your center of power. Your solar plexus is the volcano. Work with it. Do not let it erupt in a destructive way, but allow it to bubble forth in a constructive way. All right.
That was hot. Okay. Dull knife, wisdom with some humor, unconditional love, spirit guide, just what you said earlier in the show. From point A to B is their strength, the three chiefs. But there's also like crazy horse, red shirt, white buffalo, calf woman, black elk, blah, blah, blah. Here's dull knife, wisdom with some humor. If anybody wants to catch one of those 50 sacred smells, it doesn't have to be sage. We're not lighting anything, but you get tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, cedar, pine. What are you getting, Julie, in the air? And then also, what are you connecting, like blah, blah, blah. You know what to do.
The energy of this beautiful figure is one of oneness. Oneness is where your power lay. When you divide, the division weakens you, your light, your power, your strength, and your knowing. So reconnect with the oneness, with each other, with the land. Become one with all and all that is. And in that lay your true power.
Brilliant. And I do a lot of running since I was 14. So if I'm 56, 42 years of running, Dull Knife, Sai Baba, and Geronimo I use the most on the runs. Well, Joy as well. You can ask for anything, even like exercise. Like if you play pickleball and you want to hit a winner, there's nothing wrong with asking Joy to jump into your arm and not smash it on into someone, but just to have fun, flow a little more, whether it's gardening, running, you name it. Red shirt I describe as the gentlest mom in the world. Good luck with that. But he is super sweet and soft, and he's compassion, compassion, compassion. Lakota Sioux chief, and he's wearing a U.S. presidential medal. Day after the photo was taken, he and Geronimo at the White House Teddy Roosevelt horseback parade, Pennsylvania Avenue. Julie, what are you getting from Red Shirt? And he's a sweetie.
He is a sweetie. There's an absolute unconditional love, a genuine, heartfelt, deep understanding on a soul level of who you are. His eyes can see right through your soul and into all of who you are. He sees all of you. It reminds me a lot of the source energy, of the absolute knowingness of who you are in an unconditional, loving way.
Ooh. I'm going to do Geronimo twice, young and older. He's action, 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 dry wit, humor. The first two are formal, proper, yes, no, but he's more like, yeah, nah, duh, you already know the answer. And you'd think Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, Mary, who am I skipping? Seth, you'd think they'd all be really big deals, but he ends up stealing the show, if I didn't say that before. But people will be like trepidation to meet him. And here's young Geronimo, but then I'll put older Geronimo. We need a seatbelt, roller coaster seatbelt, or Formula One for the older photo, because it's what you just said about Red Shirt. He goes right through you. The older photo is big. I think he's a tiger here, but a kitten in the other one. Here's Geronimo, lightning bolt, action, dry wit, humor. And what are you getting from Geronimo part A?
Fear. Anger, hostility, determination. It's hard energy.
Okay. And then older, you'll see more of a grandfatherly figure. And this is the one to put a seatbelt on because.
Wow. Now that's a very different, look at the eyes. Very, very different. The other eyes, the younger eyes, were full of anger and hate and hostility. These eyes are full of wisdom and compassion and understanding and acceptance and truth and peace. Peace.
And then can I do the drawing of Jesus that I don't know if she's from Latvia, Lithuania. The one from Heaven is for Real. It's a pretty famous Jesus drawing, but again, great sense of humor. And here's the big J. And that should look familiar, right? The painting drawing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are you getting that you can share out loud for us?
So the words I'm hearing is this: I am all that I am. I am love. I am you. I am with you. I am inside you. I am part of you. I am always there. I am the Christ consciousness. I am in the air that you breathe. I am God personified. And so are you.
Compassion. Let's talk about kindness, gentleness, compassion. Plato once said, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle than you. And I'll just stick his photo up. You can see the old, he doesn't mind me saying it this way. You can see the old man's face in the photo. The mustache, the eyes, the nose. Here, let me do it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
No hugs for him. They're sweaty. Fist pump, tap on the shoulder. But what do we need to know about compassion, kindness, being in our heart more? What you were talking about with the driver. What's this all about again?
Well, compassion and kindness are part of the origins of who we are. But sometimes, oftentimes, we lose sight of who we are. I'm just listening to the words that are coming through. We allow the unkindnesses of the world to reduce, eliminate, or contaminate our own kindness. Our task, our mission is to rise above it and stand and stay within our own truth of kindness. Compassion is that which you see when you are kind to another and to yourself in a loving way, non-judgmental way, impassioned way. All of these energies come from your heart, meaning that the more you step into them, the more you are living from your heart. And the more this feels true to you, because it is true. And the more you know truth, the more you step into light. And the more you step into light, the lighter you become. And the more you transcend that which is not light, that which you call darkness. So allow yourself often to lift into an energy of kindness and compassion and grace, or it is part of your whole self. It is the whole of your part self. Indeed.
Lovely. And Mary once said, ego is blocking love. Just to say it a different way. Be in your heart as much as you can remember to remember, if you can remember to remember, when you remember. And that's not original. That Songyel Rinpoche said, remember to remember, for 35 years to his students. I don't have anything original here, but I do have quotes. I have 18 pages of quotes from Winnie the Pooh to Einstein to Seth to angels to Jesus and Plato and more. I'm going to read 3 or 4 or 2, and any reaction, any direction it takes you, whatever you'd like to do here. So it's creative. We're spinning the wheel here. I'm going to do Winnie the Pooh. Some people talk to animals. Not many listen, though. That's the problem. And I'll add, that's the opportunity for us all. That's quote number 1. Everyone is always good right now where they are. Growth at some level is always being experienced. Long or short path, no contradictions. And then last one, Herman Melville. I don't know how we got him, but we got him. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow men. Can you just take us somewhere with those?
The thousand fibers connect us. We are energy, we are matter. Matter is energy. There is energy vibrations coming off each and every one of us all of the time. And so we are always connected. Unless you are living in the middle of nowhere, on your own, on top of a mountain, and the nearest soul is a million miles away, which is not possible on this planet Earth, it's not big enough, then you are always connected. So that is absolute truth. And when we feel it and know it, we start to take responsibility for it. We start to think more about the way that we behave and are with others because we are connected to them. A little bit like the way that we would not necessarily say something to somebody's face, but we might say it behind their back. When we realize that we are all connected through these tangible, energetic forms of energy, then just be kind always and truthful always.
Mm.
Winnie the Pooh has some of the best quotes on the planet. I love Winnie the Pooh. He has come up with some amazing quotes. But to talk to animals and do we listen is a wonderful truth. To talk to a tree and do we listen? To talk to our angels and do we listen? And talk to each other and do we listen? We often hear, but we do not listen. Or we listen, but we do not hear. And so when we start to see that words, as we know, the sound is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. It doesn't need to have sound to have a vibration. A tree doesn't really have sound. It kind of does. It might be groaning a little bit in a wind. It might be groaning a little as it settles more into the earth, as it gets bigger and older. But it has a vibration. And if we will but listen, we can speak with the trees, we can speak with the air, and we can certainly speak with animals, for they will speak back to us.
Brilliant. Again, love this interview. Totally wild, totally fun. I'm going to mention something. I'm 13 years in, and it was 6 to 7 weeks ago. Some angels started giving different galactic origin stories. It doesn't mean every angel is from wherever. It's a very diverse crowd. I think it's fair to say they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors with all different purposes. It's what you said about free will, and they're not here to interfere, but they are here to help as much as you'll allow for and ask. I'll put up just a couple quick photos and mention the background stuff. I think 10 years ago, it might have been a lot for me. Today, I'm kind of like, okay, because it's like what you said, it always shifts, changes. You just got to roll with it. Joy said more of a cosmic background. So it's what Mary once said about love is everywhere. Open your eyes to see love. That would be joy, just a constant. And you just have to get out of what you know. And it could be music, it could be a concert. Charlotte, though, said she had an Orion background. And I thought that was interesting. Uh, Min said serious, not trying to be too serious here. Dale said Andromeda, coached an Olympic athlete we all know from the late 80s or late 70s, early 80s, who won some golds. And then Matt said Pleiades / Orion, I believe. And I'll put up a Heather who's more domestic. Not that this means anything, but more earthbound. She makes a lot of hearts in her photos. And lastly, archangels, 2 different ways, although I got them a bunch of different ways. Here's 4 archangels one way: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. Here's Michael just directly. But they're more like closer, I don't know how to say this. There's no structure or hierarchy really, but they said more like across the whole quadrants, all the quadrants, just everywhere, broader. How about that? More like light beings. And so what I wanted to ask was, with Seth, for example, that's like the one figure people can't see. He shows up, at least at this end, in the sky as a Cheshire cat face. Doesn't really want to do the corporeal thing, but everybody else is like, hey, even a light being named Grace, who I always forget if she's orange or she's orange light enthusiasm. A light being named Grace who's enthusiasm. If you want to have her come in, you're welcome to. But can you talk to us about this whole mankind's kind of opening up a little more with the UAP, UFO disclosure stuff? We're not the only game in town. Is that the expression? How do we handle that on top of our own learning that we're supposed to be doing with loving more, allowing more, being in the moment? That's a lot. I mean, we've got more books stacked on our desk in front of us than I mean, I don't know much, but the point is there's a lot going on. Can you handle the galactic side? You did reference it earlier.
Yeah, it's interesting that you see it as a lot going on. You see, I see it almost opposite. I see it as that this now makes things so much easier, so much easier. So we've been opening up to this higher consciousness within ourselves and within the planet and within the universe for about 100 odd years. It's really been taking off since the 1900s. So we've been learning and growing and opening and kind of doing it on our own and having to do a lot of it through faith, because most people can't see and talk to angels. Most people can't see and talk to God or Jesus. Most people are just having to go on faith. And that's the way it was for thousands of years, you know? So there would be the seers, there would be the mystics, there would be the magicians, the wizards, but they were some kind of supreme oddity that you can see, but we can't. We've come into this time, this age of Aquarius, where we are all now opening up to our innate knowing and ability to see. And so when we can suddenly see, they're giving me the analogy. Imagine that you were blind, of all the senses to lose, and different people might disagree with me, but for me personally, of all the senses to use, would be the worst one would be sight. Um, and so if you had been blind all your life and you'd learned to be able to walk around by using a stick and echo and sound and trying to use the other senses to fill in the gaps, and then suddenly there was an operation that gave you your sight back, how much easier would life be?
Hmm.
All right. So see this awakening of all of these beings that galactic beings, angelic beings, star seeds, visitors, see them as you suddenly can now see. And life can be then frightening. Oh, I can see things I couldn't see before, and it's all scary. Or it's like, wow, I can see colors I've never seen before. I can see help I've never had access to before. I can see knowledge that makes sense to me where it didn't before. I suddenly have this ability to open my mind to possibilities. We know that most of us use less than 5% of our mind, our brain. I think it's actually 2%. I can't remember the figures, but it's a very tiny amount. Well, imagine if that you suddenly had another access to another 5% or 10% of your mind. How much easier it would be. Our intelligence is expanding. Our knowledge is expanding. Our heart is expanding. Everything is expanding. And as we expand, we can then access and pull in higher levels of awareness, higher levels of knowledge, higher levels of understanding. And as we do that, we are expanding even more, which means that we can access then even more. So it's the snowball effect. I see it as fantastic. I see it as life getting easier and easier and easier. I see it as additional help coming into us to make our lives and the way we live our lives easier, and to transition into something even easier again. They tell me that they have, and I know this to be true, massive access to technology that we can only dream of. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here, because we can't go to their planets yet. We haven't got the technology. Um, and that they're wanting to share that with us, but only when we're ready. And they're saying to us, if we shared it with you too soon, you'd weaponize it, you'd destroy it, you'd blow it up, you'd, blow a fuse. You haven't got the knowledge yet. But as you open up your hearts and minds, you begin to align with that technology in its form of what it is, which is to assist and grow and help and make things easier. So, yes, there are galactic beings watching over us energetically. There always have been. Energies like Seth. Seth was part of creating the universe. Seth's been here since the beginning. Angels are sparks of light and energy and form of pure love, and they have been here since the beginning. They know an awful lot, a lot more than us. And it's why so many people come to me for a reading and other psychics like me. It's like, tell me what's going to happen because I can't see for myself. And it gives them reassurance and direction and some focus, and it's helpful. But what's happening for all of us is that our insight, our psychic sight, our intuition is opening more and more. I'll be out of work soon. You won't need me. You'll be able to do it yourself. And that is what we want. We want everybody to be able to see for themselves. Now, in other news, UFOs, they've always been around. They've been keeping an eye on us for hundreds, thousands of years. You know, these are beings from planets that are far more, and galaxies and universes far more advanced than ours. Because, you know, this Earth school that we're in is where souls queue up to. You know, we may often look and think, why would you want to come here? But souls queue up to come here because it's where they can grow in so many different forms and ways and then take that growth onto somewhere else. And it's a wondrous experience being here. But these more advanced technologies and life forms, and a lot of them don't have a body, don't need it. They are pure energy. They don't need a body to be able to speak because they can telepathically see and feel energetically into each other. But they're around, and when they come and visit us, they do create a kind of bodily form so that they can kind of coexist within our energetic field of the planet. So, you know, for example, I know that there are motherships, if you like, you know, think a Star Trek kind of thing. You know, you've got your big mothership, and you know, there's lots of little ships that come off that, keeping an eye on what's going on. Um, and in that mothership are galactic beings of vast intelligence. They are not there to want to blow us up or eat us or destroy us or any of the scary things that people love to do the clickbait titles on YouTube with. It's simply not true. They are there as guardians. They are kind of the guardians of the galaxy, if you like. They keep an eye on everything. And when they're keeping an eye on two things predominantly, they're telling me now. One is to keep an eye on our level of destruction and make sure that it never gets quite too far. Um, because they're saying so many of you now, more than 50%, 60, 70% of you have already opened at some level consciously. 95, 6, 7, 7, 97% of you are aligned with peace and harmony and love for each other. The 3% who are not would quite happily create complete carnage, and some of them are doing so. And those that are doing so will be removed from the playing board within the next decade. So please don't worry. Most of them will be removed by the end of this decade, by the time we get to 2030. Putin will be gone. Certain other leaders will be gone. These are the leaders that are power hungry, power crazed, abusing power. We all can see it and we all feel powerless to stop it and prevent it, but we are not. And it will, when power erupts, abuse of power erupts, it eventually will burn itself out. And it will burn itself out in the next few years. So they're keeping an eye on that and keeping that safe. And they are also keeping an eye on us of when we are ready to embrace the technologies that they willingly have to share with us. And that too will happen within the next decade.
Any answers to any questions, all languages, all dialects, plus said just the way any individual around the planet needs to hear it, which is very finicky because what is there, 7 billion of us? So there's only 400 trillion thought forms. I like the New York Jets. I don't actually, so I should pick a different football team in America. But there, you know, look at it as a football analogy, whether it's football, you know, soccer, the pitch. Everyone has their preferences. So every individual, every human being, we wouldn't want to change an ounce of thinking. We wouldn't mind a little less. 7% less thinking a day is what one angel said is the Olympic gold medal for us all. But they know how to navigate with that vibration into any language, the dialect, and just how you need to hear it. So ask, allow, ask, and receive. I'm going to ask about humor next. An Arcturian hacked human humor with me, and I'm still chuckling about it because first it came across as the wisest vibration ever, and I was like, whoa. And then second, it was really funny. And I've asked the same question, not being pestering, and it's not that I mean, I have to hear something 1,000 times. It's been this way for 13 years, probably been this way on my whole life on the uptake. Slow, super slow. It's okay. But I'm fast on the teaching, whether I touch the person on the shoulder, whatever. But I'm asking about a very particular topic. And the Arcturian said, we've seen the last page of your story, like a storyline, a book. And it was just meaning, hey, you're good. Trust, allow, you're covered. We got your back. But he said it in just a way that there was laughter. And I'm like, whoa. And it kind of put it to rest, at least for a week or so. Can you talk to us about the importance of humor? I've noticed that everybody, fairies, angels, I don't think there's anyone serious. Seth, I don't know if I've ever heard Seth crack a joke, but I'm sure he does or would or is coming in now. And I have little streams of balls of light coming into my vision right now. So I'm going to blink a lot. And Julie, what's this whole humor thing about?
Well, joy is the highest vibration that there is. It is, it's higher than happiness. It is, it's higher than love because love creates joy.
Hmm.
You see, so joy is the highest vibration. So laughter, of course, is a joyous expression. It is the expression of joy to laugh. It is a bursting forth of joy, energy. So it comes from nowhere. You know, we create emotions all the time. We create thought all the time. We create beliefs all the time. We create new cellular structure within our body all the time. So emotions are constantly being generated, expressed, and then released. And they come up as a burst of energy and then they're gone. So we might laugh at something and it came out of nowhere. It was triggered by something, something funny, something somebody said, something that tickled you. It was triggered, and the energy of joy to suddenly burst out of this noise out of your mouth that made no sense, that was nonsense, that was just pure delight, just pure delight. And it, when we think about expression, we think about words, and the words have meaning and tone and form. They have structure, they have rules. Whereas the energy of joy, a laugh, has no structure, it has no form, it has no words, it is sound, the sound of joy. And it lifts your vibration, it lifts your face as your smile comes up, it lifts your energy, it lifts your belly. And as you laugh, you are also releasing a whole lot of negative emotions that suddenly are freed by the joy. You always feel better for a laugh. And so when I'm working with a client, I would often give them a prescription. Literally, I'd say, this is your prescription. I'm not a doctor. I'm not allowed to give medical prescriptions, but I am giving you a prescription that over the coming week, I want you to spend 1 hour a day in laughter. And they look at me like, what? This is for people who are sad or heavy or in grieving or whatever, right? And I'll say, right, go home and list out who's your favorite comedians, your favorite funny shows, your favorite funny films. And I want you to go and watch one of them every day for at least half an hour if you can. And because the first 10 minutes, if you're in a bad mood, you're just going to be sitting there going, you know, and then gradually the funny laughter will start to come up, and you will by the end of it be smiling. And when I do this, and they'll say, you know, are you serious? Yeah. You know, you come home from work, or if you're not working, done any time of the day, just sit down for half an hour. You can do it through the television, you can do it through the radio. I do it through YouTube. I've got a list of some of my favorite comedians, you know, Michael McIntyre and Lee Evans and various British comedians, because us Brits, we've got a kind of weird sense of humor that doesn't necessarily translate that well over the pond. And I literally can go on to a channel on YouTube like Michael McIntyre, watch a 10-minute clip from, and I'm laughing my socks off within 2 or 3 minutes. And by the end of the 10 minutes, I'm in a really good mood and I'm grinning from ear to ear. And then I go into my work in a high state of vibration. And each of us can do this. We can get up in the morning tired and down our caffeinated, this will wake me up thing and go to work heavy and tired, and we can spend the day heavy and tired. Or we can spend 10 minutes in the morning giving ourselves a prescription to find something funny to watch. You know, you can go on YouTube, Facebook, any of these and just type in funny animal videos and you'll see crazy dogs and cats and horses and funny things. And again, you're smiling. Whatever it is for you, because we're individuals, different things make different people laugh. You know, I don't like slapstick. I can watch slapstick and I'm sitting there going, you know, what are you doing that for? Nothing, zip, no reaction. But I like observational humor. That's something I can relate to. Now you got me, now I'm laughing. But we all have different types of response to humor. You've given me today, I don't know, 5 or 6 jokes. I laughed at 3 of them. I didn't laugh at the other 3. Some I found funny, some I didn't. And for other people, they might find the ones funny that I didn't. You know, we've all got, so find whatever's funny for you. Find it. Go and watch it. Give yourself the gift of joy. It is not something outside of yourself. It's something inside of you that is constantly present. You just need to activate it, give it a little poke, and that bubble of joy pops up that we call a laugh. And away you go.
2 30-second exercises, then a wrap up, and we'll have you take us in a final direction, a message of hope and everything else. I did want to say, laugh more. Joy said this. Anything that I said today sounded smart. It's from an angel or someone. Laugh more. Your laughter is healing and hope for others. I've always loved that expression. Had to write it down though.
It's also contagious. It's incredibly contagious. Somebody else can be laughing and you don't even know what they're laughing at, but you start laughing at their laughter. It's contagious. So let's contaminate the world with a bit of joy.
I love it. And there's a little quote here that goes right to that. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment, so too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all, do it. And that was an angel named Dale, who I don't know if I put him up or not. He's here somewhere. He says you can think of him as Greg Kinnear, George Clooney, if you don't know who the actor Greg Kinnear is, but the one with the Andromeda background. He was the very first one, I think, that kind of cracked the code on the, hey, some of us are from far out, others, you know, more planetary here, so to speak. I probably didn't say that the right way. Okay, so I wanted just to do the thing out of Celestine Prophecy, but another guest said, hey, we were doing this in the 70s, showing light between our fingers. And I know that in India, they do it this way. So there's no one way, but you get another dad joke. And that's the most important thing. And this takes 10 seconds. You just see my light. It'll be blue, gold, green, yellow. We do this probably once every 10 shows. And it takes 30 seconds. But are you okay with this? Is it
Oh, yeah.
groovy? But can we throw some spice into it? And by that, I just mean some fun. You know, unfortunately, I got a big pile of cards. We remember the pink ball light that's joy. We can just ask Joy to do pink hearts for you. Like when you do those live streams and people hit the heart and there's the floating bubbles of hearts, that's what I'm trying to get to. She'll make pink extra bubbles that aren't part of my light energy, or they are. Who knows? I don't know my words here. But here's the dad joke, most importantly. Why did the rabbit fall down that well? He didn't see that well. And just see a little filament of light at home if you want. And what color, Julie, are you seeing? And then can you ask Joy to do some extra fireworks for you, or hearts?
I'm seeing white lines going, it's like a star energy coming in and going out, going up, going down, coming in, coming out, as if it's breathing.
And any pinkishness so that Joy can do a ta-da, here I am.
I'm not seeing the pink. I'm seeing an energetic, like a piece of elastic between your fingers, but it looks white. Sorry.
Oh, no. Totally groovy. And maybe we'll get a little flyby. Joy's done that actually. I think she's got the pole position, the prize level of showing up the most. She likes to do it. We'll maybe ask her.
They're just saying to me, you know, please remember that white light is all lights, all colors, vibrating so quickly together they appear as white. It just means simply that you've integrated all the different colors, which is why I'm seeing white.
And I wanted to say that. I forgot to say that. And if it's rainbow light, I always say pause it, run out and buy the lotto ticket. Or if you've been stuck on your memoir, the final chapter, now's the time to bang it out. Or if it's the run, you're only running 2 kilometers, you wanted to run 5 kilometers, probably a good chance to do it. But ask your angels, don't listen to me. Last little bit, and then you do get to give us the final big spiel, which you've been giving the big spiel the whole time. So this is going to be a fun big spiel, and I don't know which way that's going to go. But I'm going to put my hand up in Texas with your permission. We connect, but only my highest intent, not my bill paying, worrying side, my thinking side. Welcome to being human. With your permission, same thing for you. Our highest
Yeah.
intent here. I'm going to wish you rainbow light 3 times, but it's not me. We're going to blame angels in the universe all the way and Seth on this one. So three
I've got to
times.
come up here. I've got to
Yeah.
put it over there.
If,
Okay.
if people want to breathe at home, it's just a little bit of rainbow light. It's fun. It's sparkly. We were getting there. And here comes the first one. Sandbag at home if you want. Breathe more to turn up the volume. Here it comes. And Julie, what did you get first time?
I felt the energy coming through. I feel all the energy within my head, within my being, and I had to just breathe to be able to embody it and encompassing it. I feel it within the heart, and my third eye and crown is whoosh, very open right now. It
Oh,
always is, but it's particularly open. Okay.
2 more times. The second one, you don't have to go big yet, just medium for people at home. But if you got an issue, put it at the forefront, give it a fruit name. Nobody needs to know the issue except talk to Julie and sign up and get her. One way or the other, she still does work that you can tap into. So go to her website, it'll be below the video. Here comes the rainbow light again. I'm going to blow through the microphone. If anybody wants to catch Hawaii or a breeze on their nose, do it. Lots of rainbow light coming in. And how was that? Different, fun, more sparkly?
Completely different. It went straight into my solar plexus and activated my sacral, which is all of that creative, beautiful, flowing energy. Very lovely.
I hope that's okay for a show and we could say that out loud. Okay. The third time is go big, go home. Guess what? You're already home. So let's go big. And at home, say Sakatumi universe, more love, more compassion, more. I don't even know what I'm asking for, but I'll take it. And I'll even hold a Tibetan quartz crystal, which I don't know why I'm doing it, but between a thumb so I can keep an open palm. More Hawaii coming though. I'm going to blow through the microphone twice this time. Here it goes. And Julie, what's this all about, Alfie?
A lot of energy here now around my head, my mouth, my throat, my face. I feel my head elongating. So the original self, um, the original, okay, they're just giving it me there. Feeling my original, more authentic bodily self, not in a human form, in this slightly different form, being activated now within this multiverse of oneness where we celebrate the joy, the being, the compassion, the union, the being of service
Hmm.
to self and others. And that is where we would like to emphasize, for so many of you have got it the wrong way round. Being of service to others is beautiful, not at the expense of being service to self. The soul is not here to grow others. The soul is here to grow self. And in growing self, then as a byproduct, grows others. So our message to you of empowering, loving information is that you be of service to yourself, to your growth, to your heart, to your mind, to your beingness, and then, and gently being of service to others.
Hmm. Fun. And if anybody right now, besides the whole YouTube thing and type a comment, you have to, because something probably happened for you, just any comment. But look out the window, you can see your soul. It'll look like Aurora Borealis. Just you got to go, you know, a little cray cray, but call that like laughing, letting go. You get one more dad joke just in case. Um, yeah. What did the fish with no eye say when he hit a wall? Damn. Oh my God. What do you call a fish with no eye? What do you call a fish with no eye? FISH, drop the I just so I don't get a lot of questions on the comments. You've been absolutely incredible. Is there I mean, you've been giving us final messages for the last hour because they're pretty darn good. Is there a last little bit you love to share that you haven't touched on?
Be who you truly are. Stand in your authentic self. Stop trying to play down, play it small, fit others, suit others, be influenced by others, conform to others. Just be you. You are enough. You always have been. You always will be. You simply are. As you stand in your authentic power, you stand in your true self, your divine self, your whole self.
I love it. Here's a last quote from this end. This is why being is the key to all of this. Again, blame angels. Being is believing in all. You do not need to be like anyone else. Be you. Smile more, think less. Do not permit others to dictate your well being. Own your own being and life. Love more and allow more. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. That's what I thought of right away when you said that. Um, Julie, holy Toledo, holy cow, as they say in America. You have been one of the most phenomenal guests. I would lavish you with extra praise and compliments, but I don't think you need them because it's just been incredible having you on. Hopefully, we'll have you back on again anytime you wish, and I'll get with you after the show about this. I just want to thank you. Truly authentic, truly fun, truly giving of yourself to share so much time both here on the show and to help so many others. Wow, and thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been my absolute pleasure to be your guest. It's been fun, it's been joyous, and it's just been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.